Greetings, Zombie Slayers, Sleepy Jim here. Welcome back to my solo high round strategy guide for the map Shadows of Evil from Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies. If you're enjoying this series, please remember to rate and comment and subscribe if you haven't already to my channel, where I release tons of zombies content. Now, this point in the game, what we've done in the last episode is upgrade the special weapon in this map, the Apothicon Sword, to the Keeper's Sword, an even more epic, awesome looking melee weapon. But in this episode, we're going to be looking at some final stages of getting set up, as well as some training around the rift area. So let's get back into it here. Unfortunately, it doesn't kill the Magwas for you, but okay, we got a max ammo drop back there, so that's awesome. You do tend to get a lot of drops as well. It's sort of like Black Ops 2 in that way. So I mean, later on, using the Wonder Weapon, which has limited ammo capacity, I never really had any problems with ammunition. But I mean, eventually, when you get into the really high rounds, because there's a set number of drops per round. It's not based on the number of zombies. I believe I'm correct in saying that. That's how Black Ops 2 worked anyway. I have to be careful here because I don't have danger closest. The splash damage on the ray gun. But yeah, if it works the same as Black Ops 2, there's a set number of drops each round, and after that you don't get any more drops till the next round. So what happens in the really high rounds, and when there's hundreds and hundreds of zombies to get through, is you might get 1 or 2 max ammos maximum, but then you just gotta rely on other things to get ammunition. Like eventually, if you get desperate, you might have to re-roll the box for your main zombie killing weapon. In this map, it's the Wonder Weapon. Yeah, so anyway, one strategy to deal with the Magwas when he spawns mid-round like this is just simply to leave him and kill all the rest of the zombies except for maybe 2 or 3 zombies, and then concentrate on taking him out before you finish the round. So preferably don't shoot out any of his mouths or heads or whatever they are until you're ready to kill him. That way he'll move slowly for you rather than charging after you. Alright, insta-kill, always good. So yeah, at this point I'm pretty much just going to be going through the rounds. As the rounds get longer, the zombies get harder to kill. We're going to try out a few different tactics so you guys will be able to see which one works most effectively. And by the end of this series, you'll see eventually I settle down into a really, really OP strategy that is super easy, super safe, and you can comfortably get to high rounds. Almost like you'll get to the point where you feel like you're never going to go down. The one problem you would get to, though, in really, really high rounds is probably ammunition, like I said. But we have a Gobblegum that's going to help us with that, and I'll demonstrate that to you guys when we get to that point. Alright, so we've pack-punched the Drakon. It's now the Bahamut, and has the turned alternate ammo. I was trying to remember what it was called. What it does, if you haven't seen my other videos on all the guns pack punched in the Giant, it basically has a random like critical hit type chance of turning a zombie into an ally. So it will roam around killing the other zombies for you. It can take out like, as far as I can tell, at any level, they can take out, 5 or 6 zombies before they die. Depending on how badly you hit them when you shot them originally. Like, I've shot their heads off before, and these headless zombies that are turned will run around killing other zombies until they eventually work out that they haven't got a head, and they die. Okay, there we got some, interestingly, some fuel for the zombie shield. I haven't really been using the shield boost much because it can get you into some sticky situations, but if you do happen to use it a lot and you run out of fuel. You can look around the map and you'll be able to find those fuel canisters that look exactly like those ones that we found out of that pod to refuel the shield. But what I use the shield for is more like protecting my back, and it tends to get broken fairly quickly in the higher rounds, so you will have to probably replenish it. Just make sure you remember which build table you built it on so you can head directly back to pick one up. I recommend doing that at the start of every round if it is broken. Yeah, but we'll talk more in depth about the strategy that I found super effective for the higher rounds later on when we get to some higher rounds. And what I'm doing right now is I'm looking around trying to find an active Gobblegum machine, so I might just skip ahead in this gameplay to where I find one. Alright, so just heading over to the area now to pick up another zombie shield. And now we're going to go find a Gobblegum machine. There should be one up here in this station here that's active. And we'll see what we can get this time. Now you might remember at the start the specific Gobblegums that I had. This particular one is the sword flay one that we had at a much earlier round than this one. The reason that I thought I would try this out is using this with the sword, I think is just going to be super OP. Like, I have got to some really high rounds in this map, like 50 plus, and the sword is still pretty much a one-hit kill.
Is that a good thing?
But I imagine at some point that it's going to eventually not be able to kill zombies in one hit. So that's why I think that Gobblegum might be an effective tactic to being able to use that into even higher rounds. Like, I mean, it increases your melee damage by 5 times, which is huge when you've got something that's a melee weapon like the sword. Hopefully that Gobblegum does work on the sword. I assume it does. But speaking of which, let's try this thing out. What's it called in this game? The Galoa. So they've got some crazy names in this. It's like, I can just see the dudes at Treyarch sitting around a boardroom table like, okay guys, what are we going to call this this special sword, like the fully upgraded version? Some guy puts his hand up. What about the Galoa Lucotan? Oh hey, yeah, that's a great idea. I wonder what some of the names that they rejected were. Anyway, yeah, we're basically just building the points here. Like you can see, like the raise speed on this sniper is just a little bit too slow to use real safely in a spot like this where you got zombies spawning in really fast in the higher rounds all over the place. But once we get that last part that we need for the wonder weapon, we'll be putting that together. So remember, we need like a blue glowy part that will get dropped from either the flying creatures or the meatballs. So once again, we're going to be looking around trying to find another Gobblegum machine. Fortunately, the first one we checked is still active. And let's see what we get here. Stock option. Okay, stock option. Probably not going to be super useful for me. Like with an LMG or something, if you're camping, then yes, definitely awesome. But like I said, that's probably one of the Gobblegums for this specific map that you can switch out to something. I mean, something like Anywhere But Here, those type of get out of trouble Gobblegums might be useful for you. Anyway, we're going to call in a civil protector here. And what I recommend doing is at the start of every round, if you have enough points, and you'll definitely will in the higher rounds, call in a civil protector, then head straight down to the rift. But rather than taking the stairs like I'm doing there, or I was thinking of doing there, it's probably best to use one of the portals. But we've got a roller ball on our tail here. So I think what I was doing here is I was heading back to grab another shield, I believe, or was I? I can't even remember why I came up here. To be honest, it's like, what the heck am I doing here? I must have definitely had some sort of reason for going that way, but I can't remember what it was, even though it was last night. Maybe I was trying to find a portal? I don't think so, because I know where they are, but anyway, we're back. We're back in the rift, and there's a Gobblegum machine active down here, which is super convenient. Alright, Arsenal Accelerator. So, this particular Gobblegum is awesome, like I said earlier, but not with the ray gun. With the ray gun, it's not going to give you much ammo back at all, really. If you have any type of rapid fire weapon, like an SMG, assault rifle, LMG, you'll get back tons of ammo. And you'll see with the wonder weapon as well, it's pretty epic. Anything which has limited ammunition, like even the sniper rifles, because they're single shot weapons, it's quite good for that as well. Okay, we got danger closest, so that's not too bad because I'll be using the ray gun a fair bit. And we've got a Magwas around here as well. Once you get the wonder weapon, you don't really have to worry too much about getting blocked off. But until then, you obviously have to be careful to avoid getting trapped, just like you would normally in any zombies map. We get a nuke there. So at this stage of the game, because we're pretty much almost completely set up, apart from the wonder weapon and the little arnies, I'm going to be hitting all the nukes I can just to get through the rounds quicker. Those flying creatures can be a little bit annoying to hit. And you got tons of zombies on your tail. Oh god, that was a near thing right there. Standing on the stairs, that was a bad positioning right there. But yeah, there's plenty of areas that you can run into if you do look like you're going to get blocked off in this map. You have to be careful if you're wall running back in this area mid-round, because sometimes you'll get zombies coming across the wall towards you, and if that happens, there's only one way to go, and that's down, and that's if you drop down into the chasm, it's pretty much game over. Okay, hit the trap here.
Go me.
So the trap has an interesting effect with the chains. It's got a bunch of chains that go across and decapitate the zombies as they run through it. You can safely go through that yourself as long as you don't linger in it. It's sort of like the electroshock traps in Doris. If you go through them quick, you'll survive, but you can train the zombies through them that way, which I'll show you guys once again in some of the higher rounds to show you how effective the trap is or isn't in the really high rounds. So there you go, guys. That is the next part we needed for the wonder weapon, Xenomatter. I thought it was blue, but it's actually green, isn't it? Anyway, we did get that to drop. So these rounds, you're probably more likely to get it than other rounds because all it is the flying creatures and the meatballs. So we're going to go to the build table and put the wonder weapon together now. Alright, so I'm just going to keep one of these flying things flying around so the round doesn't end, and I'm going to go find the build table. And I think we have to go to the waterfront district build table. Unfortunately, that was the last creature in the round, so the round ended a bit earlier than I wanted it to. Unfortunately, you can't do much about it if they respawn as a meatball, because they suicide anyway. So we're just going to head back down into the rift. Once again, it's becoming a very familiar area, but it is the easiest place to train to get through the rounds. But at the end of this round, we should be putting together the Wonder Weapon. And the Wonder Weapon is awesome, guys. I love it. Definitely up there with one of my all-time favorite Wonder Weapons. Especially Pack-a-Punched. It doesn't have much ammo the first time you build it. Okay, so just to maximize our ammo efficiency, we're going to be grouping up all the zombies before we start taking them out. Fortunately, we don't have any Magwas to worry about. And I think I might have been planning on using the trap right here, so we'll get to see what that's like against a whole group of zombies at round 23. So yeah, you can see at round 23, it definitely takes out all of the zombies. And what you can even do, it lasts long enough for you to group them up a second time and then train them back through from this side through to the other side. So you can take out basically two hordes, two full hordes, which I'm assuming is still 24. I haven't tested that, to be honest, but I'm assuming there's still 24 zombies in a horde, in a, you know, that max that can be spawned into the map at one time. It is next gen, but that's the way they've kept it pretty much for 3 Treyarch Call of Duties. And it seems to be about the same. If any of you guys have tested that, let me know in the comments section. But yeah, we've got the last couple of zombies left here. And we're going to head through and build the Wonder Weapon now.